This is how it feels to be crushed by the weight of invisible labor. But for real, invisible labor and the mental load are a hot topic these days, so we're going to dive in deep today. I asked you what your biggest questions are on the topic of tackling the mental load in your relationship, and we're going to answer them right now. By the way, I'm Allie, a licensed marriage and family therapist and head of relationships at Paired, the app that brings couples closer. If you've ever felt like you were carrying the invisible weight of all the to-dos, remembering the grocery list, scheduling appointments, keeping the family calendar straight, you know what the mental load feels like. And it's one of the biggest sources of stress and resentment in relationships. The truth is, the mental load isn't just about chores. It's about fairness and communication and feeling like you're on the same team. So today I'm answering real questions from my audience about navigating the mental load, how to share it more equally, how to bring it up without starting a fight, and how to actually feel supported instead of burnt out. And before we dive in, if you're ready for more tools to ease that weight, the Paired app is like a daily relationship check-in that actually works. Expert-backed prompts, fun games, and bite-sized tools to help you stay close while also tackling life's responsibilities together. The link's in the description if you want to try it. So let's jump in. Is it okay if I take on more of it because I'm good at it, like to be in control? Here's the thing about mental load. It's not going to be the same for every couple. And yes, there will be differences at different phases of life too. Like in one phase of life, you might be taking on more of it. Or, if you do like to be more in control and your partner likes to ride the wave, then that's okay. But here's when it's not okay. If that starts building up resentment, and then if your partner starts relying on you for things that they used to be in control of, but now they just defaulted to you. It might feel good right now, maybe at the beginning of your relationship, maybe before you have any kids, but later on, if this continues for years and years and years, you're probably going to feel burnt out, and you might even start to lose some respect for your partner if they're never taking initiative on things. So I would just be careful. Yes, it's okay for you to take charge of the things that you like and that you're good at, but if you're doing that because you're uncomfortable with flexibility, or if you're doing that because your partner has simply given up and you've just decided, you know what? It's on me. If I want it right, I'm going to do it myself. Those aren't great reasons. So really think about the motivation behind this and make sure that this is something you can sustain long term. Why does the woman always seem to carry it, meaning the mental load? Well, there's a few reasons. The first one is social conditioning and gender roles. From an early age, women are often expected to anticipate the needs of others, be aware of emotions, or be the ones who are babysitting, etc. So from a very early age, they are practicing these skills of being super aware of people's needs and then executing on those. Another reason is just because of, classical default responsibilities. Oftentimes you'll hear people in this space call it the she-fault parent, because the woman typically is the default. Part of the reason too in modern days is that historical norms just haven't caught up yet. Like for generations, women were assigned the role of homemaker and expected to take care of all of those things while their male partner was out of the house, bringing in the food or working. But in modern times, women are also expected or invited to be a part of the workforce and do all of that, yet they still have all these home responsibilities that have been part of being a woman for generations. And so historically, even though women now have more choice and opportunity to be outside in the workforce, they still have these responsibilities at home that just haven't shifted yet. How to share with someone with ADHD who struggles to remember. This is a really, really common issue, and there are a lot of resources that can help. One of my good friends, Dr. Morgan Cutlip, has a book called A Better Share, and in this book, she outlines strategies specifically for ADHD partners. But the important thing with ADHD is to have things written down and then to have consistency. So if you are wanting to share the mental load with your ADHD partner, make sure you have written down what it is that you are carrying so that they can actually go back to that note on their phone and look at it and see. Because you're right, it's easy to forget. This might feel like more work on your part at the beginning, but encourage them to take responsibility for understanding the mental load more. Maybe they can set a reminder on their phone once a week to ask you, hey, what sort of invisible labor has been on your mind this week? Because they've got that reminder on their phone that encourages them to do that, you'll feel like you are carrying less of the weight of having to inform them and they're taking more responsibility. So writing things down and then consistency. Make sure that there are certain routines in your household that they can rely on and really get super, super good at. So instead of changing things up all the time, divide certain roles with a lot of consistency so that they can just really practice getting the hang of those things. What's the difference between an unthoughtful person and someone who actually doesn't know how to show up? I think an unthoughtful person is someone who doesn't care to try, someone who's just ignoring this, telling you it's your problem, whereas someone who genuinely doesn't know how to show up is going to listen to you when you're sharing, going to say, hey, I want to be able to support you in this, but I really don't know what you need. Can you please explain to me what you need here so that then I can go and execute on that? So the difference is someone who cares and will listen versus someone who has no interest in doing so. How can I ask my husband to share the mental load without sounding like I'm nagging? There is research that shows that couples who frame chores as ours instead of mine versus yours report higher relationship satisfaction. So you want to frame this as a shared goal. Try, I want us both to feel supported. Can we look at what's on our plates together? This way, your partner is not going to feel like you are just delegating to them. You do this, you do this, you do this for me. Instead, it's, hey, let's do this together for a shared benefit. Both of us want to be less stressed. Both of us want to have more time for intimacy. Both of us want our kids to be happy, healthy, and strong. When you start framing this as a we, they will feel less nagged. How can I explain the mental load to my partner if they don't even realize it exists? This is where analogies come in handy because your partner probably has a job, and at their job, they probably have some mental load, but they just don't realize it because they've never used that term before. So use an analogy from their life. Just like when you're at work and you have someone under you who is missing appointments and you're thinking, okay, how do I make sure that the client isn't upset with this person under me? What am I going to do to manage that? XYZ. That's mental load. That's invisible labor. And so you want to give an analogy that your partner can relate to and then bring it back to your own life and say, I don't wash the laundry. I actually keep track of when the detergent is running low, whose soccer uniform is clean, what can and can't go in the dryer. There's so much more underneath just what you see. You see the laundry, but you don't see the mental prep that has gone into it. Just like at work, you see XYZ, but not the mental prep. So really relating it back to their own life can help them get a grasp on what you're talking about. How do I bring up the mental load without making it sound like I'm just complaining? You want to focus on impact, not blame. So instead of you never help, try focusing on the impact. I feel exhausted keeping track of XYZ, and I want us both to feel more balanced, and I really need support. When you're vulnerable and you say, I really need support, I really need a teammate from this, instead of you're so lazy, you're always on your phone, why did you forget this again? They're going to be more motivated to show up because they realize, there's an emotional impact for you that I can help with. And that's more motivating than criticism. What do I do if my partner says, just tell me what to do, but I don't want to be the manager of everything? That's honestly the heart of mental load, is that you don't want to be the project manager. Here's the thing. When you're very first starting to shift the mental load from one partner to the other, you are going to have to explain some things. You are going to have to, tell them what to do. But that shouldn't be the long-term solution. So think of it as a now versus 2 weeks from now. Right now, you're going to sit down together. You're going to share with them the important steps, what's important, etc. And then you're going to say, this is now yours to fully own, and then decide together on what's called a minimum standard of care. So this is the lowest level of execution that we can both agree on. As long as you do that, feel free to add your own touches and don't check in with me. And then you are on it from now on. So in the initial conversation, you will probably have to do more project management than you want to. But once you have gotten the hang of that, then that shifts and they can fully own the task. How do we decide what's fair when one of us works more hours outside the home and the other is home with the kids? Remember that fair doesn't always mean equal. It just means more balanced. But studies do show that stay-at-home parents carry significantly more housework and emotional labor. So have an honest conversation about energy not just the hours. What if my partner thinks they are already doing a lot, but it still feels uneven to me? In this case, when you both are really contributing a lot, but it still feels uneven, oftentimes the root of the issue is a lack of appreciation. And so be very specific with your partner. Like, I really need to know that you see how much I'm doing X, Y, Z. I really need to hear that appreciation, because otherwise I start to feel resentful. I start to feel that it's uneven. Can you please make an effort to really notice and call out and highlight the invisible things that I'm doing for our family? And test that out. See if once you've gotten a little more appreciation, you feel a little bit more at peace with the current level of contribution. How do we make lasting changes so the mental load doesn't just fall back on me after a few weeks? This is why it's so important to have a regular check-in. You've really got to have at minimum, a monthly check-in in place so that both of you are consistently aware of what needs to happen and making sure that you're being flexible about who's doing what depending on the phase of life you're in. If you have the monthly check-in, then you know it's not going to be too long before you're able to have this conversation, so resentment won't be growing for months and months and months. One thing that we do at my house is we have a shared note on our phone that's like the invisible load note. And we just write down anything that's on our mind that we've been working on or we want the other person to see. And then they get a notification, oh, something was added to this list. It's not about making the other person do that task. It's about making the invisible concrete. And we have found that when the other person is aware and the invisible is very concrete, there is more appreciation, there's less resentment, there's more willingness to step up and take on other things because we're just more aware of what our partner is experiencing and what they're going through. Well, you asked some really great questions today, and I hope you got some answers. The mental load is real, and it can quietly erode your connection if you don't name it and share it. But when you do start talking about it, you move from silent resentment to teamwork. And that's where real change happens. So if this video sparked something for you, whether it's realizing that you're carrying more than you thought or seeing a way to share things differently, I hope you'll take that next step with your partner. And if you want some structure for those conversations, the Paired app makes it so much easier. With guided check-ins and expert prompts and daily tools, it helps you feel more like a team, not just two people managing a never-ending list. The link is in the description if you want to give it a try. If you found this video helpful, drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway or what question you want me to answer next. And make sure to hit subscribe for more relationship tips, and I will see you in the next one.